I love when people come to me with hard-hitting information about myself and they think it's going to scare me. I had a subscriber message me up one day and say, "Hey Barry, does the name Alec mean anything to you?" Like he had some crazy hidden info. Yeah, that's one of my best friends. We stream every Saturday on Twitch. You should come by sometime. And I've had quite a few people come to me saying they have information that I may not want anyone else to see. One of my favorite ones, though, was this guy on Twitter. He messages me up and says, "Hey Barry, is there something you're not telling us?" and attaches a link that directed me to my arrest records. They listed everything. 2007 charges for Barry M. Weidrich, assault charges, and drunk driving, and I gotta come clean. Back in 2007, when I was 12 years old, I was a completely different person, which is true. However, none of that was me, as my name is Barry Allen Weidrich, but it was definitely a valiant try. See, I was named after my uncle, and it's funny how often I'm sent his address and phone number with messages like, "Hey Barry, found you, you should be scared." I mean, I guess I'll never lose my uncle's contact information at least. There's a plus. But aside from some of you guys trying to creep me out, today's video is going to be about some of the crazier stories that I have. So I'm sitting there one day, just minding my own business, and I get a message on Facebook. Now I get messages from subscribers asking to friend me, and Facebook's one of those social medias that I like to keep away from YouTube. I don't even use it enough anyway, so it'd just be a waste of time, but I go into the suggested friends area, and there are a few requests. The top one being from some girl that I never heard of. Now usually I just click ignore on everybody, but for some reason I felt like I should add her. And I don't know why, because again, I never use Facebook, so even if I thought she was cute, I never would have reached out anyway. But I was curious to read her message, so I accepted her friend request, and it says something like this. "Hi Barry, it's your daughter. You had such a wonderful little girl whom you've never been there for. I grew up without you, and at first I missed you, but my mother taught me to never rely on a man." She spoke about all her accomplishments and how happy she was, and as this went on, I started to feel really weird. I thought maybe that it was a scam, but as I read it, I realized that it was possible. And not for me, but for my uncle. Now I was kind of shocked. I had no idea I had a second cousin out there somewhere, but knowing my family, it shouldn't have been as surprising as it was. I quickly responded to her, telling her that I was not the Barry that she was looking for, and she seemed upset about that, but then she sent me a picture of her half-sister, my cousin. I was blown away. Now I don't know the full story, but according to what I do know, my uncle lived in California for a bit, and he met a woman there. He got her pregnant and somehow got in trouble with a gang and had to leave, and apparently the woman carrying his child didn't want to go with him. I don't know how long he waited to tell anyone, but growing up, I never knew. I did find out later that some of my family had known about her and even went to visit her, but she doesn't know much about our side of the family, which is probably for the best, because my family's kind of the crazy side. This happened about 6 months ago, and I've been wanting to tell this story since it happened, but it just sounds like a plot from some random teen drama. This kind of thing just doesn't happen, but it was too interesting to never tell. This next story has to do with Walmart, which should be expected. When it comes to a video about crazy, Walmart stories just belong. See, the thing about Walmart is you can't be happy. If you work at Walmart, it's probably because you don't have many options open to you, which sucks because it means you have to take the job seriously. Not only are the customers whack jobs, but most of the time the employees are as well, so making friends is almost impossible. Most of your bosses will suck, and if they don't, then their bosses most certainly will. There's just no room for a good time, and honestly, I loved when I had to go back and fill out those stupid computer tests. See, when you first get hired, you have to take a compilation of tests that take about 3 days to complete. These are called CBLs, and they're just so boring. Every few months, it's Walmart policy that you have to go in and retake a few tests, and I hated my job so much that I sometimes would fake having to do them to get out of doing the work. But one day, my boss comes up to me and says, "Hey, you have to go into the back and take a CBL on sexual harassment." Now, I was taken back by that at first, and then he said, No, you haven't done anything wrong. They just didn't have it prepared for you when you first started working here, so you have to go take it now. Oh, okay, awesome, I thought. I'll be milking the hell out of this today. And I went back there to do the test. Well, there was this cashier who had a crush on me, and it wasn't a cute little, "oh, hee, I like you" kind of crush. It was a, "hi, I'm open to having sex with you" kind of thing. And some of you out there might be thinking, "Barry, you're such a stud," but no. See, she was a Walmart girl. See, there are Walmart guys and there are Walmart girls, and essentially this means socially awkward or rude or creepy. Pretty much just unattractive traits. This girl was known for just walking up to people she didn't know and joining the group, taking food right in front of them, starting pointless drama, just not someone that I was attracted to. Well, I'm halfway through the sexual harassment course and the girl walks into the back. She notices me and comes in to chat, which, whatever, it makes it last longer, that's fine. The entire time, though, she's telling me that she really wants me to be a virgin because she finds that really hot, and if I ever wanted to test any kinks, I could go to her. She was so open about it, which was kind of endearing, and I may have been giving off the wrong impression the entire time. See, I was laughing at pretty much everything she said, which only made her keep going. She thought I was loving it, while in fact, I was laughing because of how ironic the situation was. This girl's sitting here propositioning me for sex while I'm in the middle of a sexual harassment test. And the questions were so fitting too, like, what should you do if a coworker hits on you at work? It was just too surreal. She did kind of ruin the day for me though, as I was planning to milk that test for as long as possible, and after she showed up, it was getting so awkward for so long that I just finished up as quick as I could. Which, in the right context, was probably a sentence that she would have wanted to hear, but again, Walmart girl. So this last story is definitely going to be different. This is just the craziest thing that I've ever seen. So I'm sure in every place there's a city or town that's just known for being where all the crazies gather. Around here, that city's called Ashland, and don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful place. Beautiful sculptures, amazing art, wonderful parks, it's the theatrical part of the valley, but as much as I love visiting, it's full of some really weird people. For example, and this isn't even that weird for Ashland, this guy who sits out on his couch that he has in his front lawn, naked every morning from about 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. One of my high school teachers lived in Ashland and she would talk about that guy every day. Anyway, I was headed to Ashland for a school event. There was some scavenger hunt that the university in the area designed so that all the high schools would compete against each other. Surprisingly enough, our school won that thing, but on the way to the final competition, I had to stop for a red light. And that is when I saw her. There was this old lady, probably in her 90s, walking across the street. Mind you, it's 8 o'clock in the morning and it's early spring, so whatever she was doing out there so early, I have no idea. This woman was wearing a paper-thin pink nightgown that was unfortunately pretty much see-through. She had on a sun-bleached straw hat that I could also tell used to be pink. Her hair was all matted and damaged, which back then wasn't a style, and I'm not sure what that's all about these days. And then there were beads in her matted hair, just all over, randomly. Now you may be sitting there thinking, first of all, Barry, that's not that bad, and secondly, how dare you make fun of some crazy old lady? What if she was out of her mind? Well, first of all, I'm not making fun of her, I'm describing her. Your mind went there, not mine. And secondly, she definitely was crazy because as she was walking across the road, she didn't have crutches or a walker to help her keep her balance. She had a pool noodle. And the thing was bending every which way as she'd walk. Wow, Barry, didn't even offer a ride? Well, listen, if I handed out rides to everyone in Ashland that I thought was probably insane, I just wouldn't have had enough room in my truck. Plus, she was across the street and traveling in the opposite direction as me, so I probably wouldn't have been that much help to her anyway. And you never know who you're picking up, but when it comes to hitchhiking, I think it's pretty reasonable to not pick up people who have the telltale signs of not being all there, and I'm just gonna live by that. Not that she could have done anything, she didn't even have a weapon on her. Well, Barry, how do you know that? Trust me, see-through blouse, don't want to talk about it.